All right, class. So, coming to the end of the first week, let's go ahead and go over some things real quick that will maybe cover and help us as we move forward into, and that's going to be student norms. Okay, so what are they? You're all kind of looking at me a little dumbfounded. So, what are they? These are things that you should expect from me as we go through the year. And I want you to check me as we go through the year. Man, if I'm not meeting the norms here that we're going to discuss, let me know because we're here. I'll be here next year. You won't be. You're going to be in 8th grade. So I want to make sure that while you're in this class, you get what you need. Okay? And I want to make sure that that applies to you so you are lifelong learners, become highly successful, and you do all the things that you want to do. Okay? So this is going to be our social contract guidelines to keep me honest, to keep me on my toes, and make sure I'm doing the job that you need me to do. So, because if I'm not doing what I need to do for you and you're not happy, then I'm not happy. Okay? And then if you're not engaged, then man, what are we doing here? What's the point? Okay? So we're going to look at 10 things that kind of help us with this. So, for this activity, you have these slides pulled up on your Chromebooks. So you're going to answer these prompts as we go through. I'm going to give you time to type them out as we go through, okay? And after we're done, we've gone through all of them, I want you to share with me your views by sharing your presentation with me via the Google Classroom. So, for this first one, we're going to talk about relationships and not those kind of relationships. Y'all are crazy hormonal 7th graders. I don't need to know about that stuff, okay? But more about, do I know you? Okay? Do I know you more than just you're in my 3rd hour class and you sit in the 3rd row? Okay? Are you just another face in the crowd? Or do I actually know what it is about you that makes you tick? And what makes you happy? And what makes you sad? And the things you enjoy? So, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you these 4 questions here on the right. After we go through these 4 questions, I'm going to give you time to write those out. And then, obviously, I'm going to share you my responses to these because relationships are a two-way street, guys. In order to get to know you, you got to get to know me, okay? And for those of you that are watching at home as part of the class for 4 days, I will, of course, be giving time, but for the sake of recording this lesson, I will not be giving time to do this on your own. So if you want to follow along, follow along. If you want to write it out and you can write that quick, go for it. So, first question. What do I, as your teacher, need to know to get you? What makes it you, you? Okay? Pretty straightforward, right? We all get that. If I needed to know a simple one-statement thing about you that would help me understand why you do things, man, write that down there. What's your favorite after-school activity? What do you enjoy to do when you leave this building? Okay? Man, if you play sports or you act or you do concerts or your violin, you do your vocal music, let me know. I got nothing but time on my hands. I love going and watching basketball games. I love going and watching football games. I love going to choir concerts and vocal music stuff. I'll go to everything. You just let me know, okay? What is your hidden talent? What is the very few people, those core group of people that you trusted your friends know that you can do? Man, I want to hear about it. And if you could go anywhere in the world to visit, where would you go and why? All right, so you got those down. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. To get to know me, you know, I have to have fun in class. Some of you, I've had your brothers and sisters in class. They probably already told you. I mean, look at the mullet. Does that look like someone who's too serious about things? No, it's not. I like to have fun in class. We're going to have some fun this year. We're going to joke around. We're going to kid around, but we've got to get our work done. That's how I operate, okay? Also, I love soccer. It is what I do. It's what I love to do. It's my passion. I still play it. I'm 36 years old. I'm still going strong. Also, Star Wars. You see the room. You see my teaching assistant Darth up there. You see his buddy R2 in the back. So, those are the important things to me. That's what gets me. You get that I love soccer. You get I love Star Wars. And I like to joke around and have fun. We're good to go. Okay? Obviously, my favorite after-school activity is soccer. Play it 3 to 4 times a week. Try and get out there as much as possible. Coach in the spring. Okay? Third, I'm actually kind of funny. I've done some stand-up. I can tell jokes. I can crack some things. Now, granted, most of them are dad jokes and observational humor, so some of them might not be funny for you guys, but my age, they find it funny. And lastly, man, I would love to go to London. Love to sit down, Emirates Stadium, watch my Arsenal boys play, in live, in person, it would be the best thing in the world for me. Life goal, bucket list, let's go. All right, so our second norm. What is it about this subject that's going to help you in the future? So, first off, what do you think we're going to study in world geography this year? If you don't have a clue, man, just write that down. But try. I want you to take a minute, think about it. Secondly, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Hopefully it's graduating high school or getting ready to. 10 years. Man, college, trade school, working for my dad down at the subway, whatever it is. Where do you see yourself? And what career do you see when you're my age that you have? Okay? What is that career? What is that end goal? Where do you want to be when you're 30? You got your family started, you got your career going, you are killing it. Okay? And then lastly, how do you see the stuff that we're going to cover in today's class? How is it going to affect you when you're 30? How is this going to affect you in your career? All right, norm number 3, time. For this, okay, am I going to allow you to work at your own pace, or do we need to work at my pace? That's the question you have to ask, and you need to understand that before we get started. So, do you work better with a deadline? Do I need to put it today and, hey, you need to turn this in by next Friday? Or is it, hey, you know what, guys, as long as we have everything in by the end of the 9 weeks, we're golden. Let's just do that. Which works better for you? Okay, and be honest, guys. Yeah, obviously, let's just put everything off to the end. But do you work well that way? Okay. Do you feel like you do a good job meeting due dates and deadlines? Okay. That kind of ties into number 1 there. Would you like more time to research more into the topics of our assignments? Man, if you really like something and specifically that we do in class, do you have more time to research that in full depth? Let's talk about that. And do you feel like being on time is important to you? Okay. I'll tell you it's very important to me. All right. Norm 4, timing. Okay. This has to do with how the lessons are presented. Okay. Do you do things better when you do it on your own, or do you need to follow directions? Having that step by step chart, does that help you better, or does it help you better to follow along? All right. And do you feel like your learning is too much of a routine? Man, you do the same thing day in and day out in every single class. Does it just get boring, or do you want to shake it up? Man, let's start in the back of the book this time instead of starting in the front. And do you feel like the order that we learn things doesn't matter, or is it important? I'll tell you right now, I really feel like personally in math, you need to learn in the order they have you do it in, because you can't learn to divide unless you know how to add and subtract first, right? So play. It's time to have some fun, okay? Do we have tasks that we need to do, assignments that we need to do where we can just play and learn and have fun with it, or is it all about that grade? Okay? Think about the most enjoyable class you had. What made it that way? Pretty straightforward, right? Do you feel like you learn while you tinker? Are you a tinkerer? Do you like to find your own solutions, work around problems, build Legos, build forts, do all that stuff? Okay? And are the grades the most important part of your school to you? Do you enjoy the learning instead? You just enjoy being in class, learning new things. Does it always have to be about that grade? I know with your parents it's about that grade. With me it's about that grade, but how do you feel? And you feel that your success in class is judged by your grade or how much you learned? If it's by how much you learned, why? Why do you think we should do that way? Change things up. All right, practice. Now, how much of those skills that you learned in class are reused in practice? How much are you going to reuse what we learned here in this class this week, next week, week after, in the future? Okay. Do you feel like everything we learn in class is important? Every little insignificant thing that we study, do you think that's actually important? And why do you feel that way? What is a skill that you have learned in class that you have used multiple times over and again? I'll tell you right now, one of the skills I feel like you're going to learn in my class that you're going to use constantly is note-taking. Man, you got to get that note-taking down, okay? And what is one area of the world that you would like to know more about? Where do you want to learn about? And just let that go. Because there's some of the areas we don't cover. If we got time, I would love to go into some more of the areas that we don't cover because there's a lot of interesting stuff happening in some of these places. And what subjects in any class that you would like to research more about? Any class, man. You want to learn about the Pythagorean theorem in math? Go for it. You want to learn about White Fang in English class? Let me know. You want to learn how to make chemical reactions that smell like farts? In science? Let's do it. Okay, let's learn about it. All right, 7, choice. Do you have choice in what you do? Can you pick your classes, or do you feel like they're picked for you? It's kind of this norm here. So what's one elective in school that you would really want to take, and why? Do you think be able to choose your core teachers as well as your elective teachers? I mean, wouldn't that be pretty cool? Like, you know what? I heard that's a really awesome math teacher. I want to choose that math teacher instead of mine. Mine's kind of old and boring. Okay. What is the one thing that you have chosen for you that you would like to change? So what's that one class that you had to take, you really wish you didn't have to take? Okay. And what's that? And it can't be one of your core subjects, guys. You got to have those. Sorry to be the downer here. And what is that one elective class that you have taken that you wish you had not taken, and why? Kind of that reflection. Look back, man, that class was a stinker. Authenticity. Now, what does that mean? It's a big word, right? Okay. How does the value of your work in class, does it matter to the outside world? Can you name one time you learned something that it helped you outside of school? Just kind of explain to me what you learned and why. And then can you think of an assignment that applied to the current day or affected your daily life? What was it? What was that assignment that you went home like, man, I can't wait to go home and tell mom and dad about this because it's going to actually change my thinking and changing what I'm doing in class. I'm hoping maybe it's this one. All right, norm number 9, challenge. On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult was the last assignment you did in this class? I know it was a get to know you activity. It was a Google Classroom thing. So, how hard was that? Do you think it was very difficult? Do you think it was challenging? Do you think you worked hard on it? What kind of assignments do you want in this class that are going to make you think and prove challenging for you? Man, is it going to be maps? Is it going to be taking notes? Is it going to be doing worksheets? Is it going to be doing video analysis? What is it? Okay. And what is more challenging for you? Memorization or taking what you learned and applying it to a different situation? Looking at this country here and seeing what they're doing there, and how does that apply to what this country's doing over here? Is it the same? Man, we have a coup going on right now in Myanmar. It just happened. Could that happen anywhere else? Let's think about that, okay? What is a coup? Who knows what a coup is? Can you tell me? And lastly, norm number 10, application. This deals with applying what you learn in class, taking it out, and using it to apply yourself outside of my room. This is how this lifelong learning piece ties in together. Because, man, if you learn a skill in here that you can use for the rest of your life, man, that's awesome. So, would you feel up to the challenge of maybe presenting an assignment to the students on the other 7th grade team? Man, public speaking is a huge skill. If you feel comfortable in front of a camera recording yourself, or you feel comfortable standing in front of a group of people and talking about these things, that's going to be something you're going to use for the rest of your life, and it's going to make your life so much easier. Okay? Would it be easier to present to your parents instead of the whole class? That's a big skill for a lot of us. I know growing up, I was afraid to talk to my parents about stuff. But maybe if you practice doing it something that's not controversial, just an assignment, maybe that will help you form that better relationship with your parents and talk to them about more important stuff. And do you feel educating the community outside of the school about different countries would be helpful? Would it be challenging? Why? All right, so I got all this expectation stuff from the Learning to Live resource from YouTube. We'll watch that clip later in class. For those of you at Fort Hays, standard correlation, this is my spiel on that. Okay. The students' understanding and learning of their norms is vital to the success inside and outside of class. It really is a way for our students to kind of hold us accountable. If we're not doing our job, man, what are we doing then? Okay. And keep them active and participating in class. Relevancy, of course, highly relevant for me. I'm still active in the classroom. I want to have my kids be active with me. And lastly, of course, I will use this in the future as many times as I can. I actually presented this as a way in which I will plan on presenting this next fall when I get a new crop of 7th graders in. Because my 7th graders now, they're doing a pretty good job now that we're back in person interacting with me. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Have a good day. Almost done. Woo-hoo.